Good morning, guys. So let's talk about HDFS architecture. So as we have already discussed what exactly is big data, and we have already discussed some of the use cases that Hadoop can solve. Let's dig a little bit deeper into architecture of Hadoop. And first part is HDFS. Let's understand how exactly Hadoop stores data into its file system. So HDFS stands for Hadoop Distributed File System, and basically HDFS consists of a name node and a lot of data nodes. A name node is basically the master of the system. Data nodes are basically the slaves of the system. So name node just maintains information about the complete file system, all the files that are present in the system, and data nodes are the machines that actually store that data. So if you look at this example, name node is basically managing the list of files. If you look at these two items, it's maintaining the list of files. It is maintaining what is the replication factor. So we'll talk about replication factor in detail. And then these are the data nodes or the slave nodes that are actually storing the actual data blocks corresponding to each file. So when we talk about HDFS, basically there are there is a concept of blocks. So every file that you store into HDFS is divided into multiple blocks. So let me actually document it down. So let me open my notepad. So basically when you talk about HDFS, you first talk about block size, and then you talk about replication factor. Okay, so block size is nothing but basically it is the size of each block to be stored on disk, right? And replication factor is number of copies of each block to be stored on disk, right? So when I say block size, let's just take an example of, let's say, 300 MB file. Okay, by default the block size in Hadoop 2.0 is 128 megabyte, which means if you take an example of 300 MB file, it will be divided into three blocks, right? First 128 MB, second block again 128 MB, and third block will be 44 megabytes, right? So basically what happens is, let me go back to the slides. So let's say this file slash foo slash data 0 is of 300 MB. Okay, and let's say your replication factor is 2. Let's ignore the replication factor for now. Let's say this file is 300 MB. So the framework will divide this file into three blocks. Okay, each block will be, first block will be of 128 MB, second block will be of 128 MB, and third block will be of 44 MB. And it will store these three blocks on separate data nodes. Okay, so basically the benefit of dividing this file into different blocks, first benefit is when you are reading this file, you can read all the blocks in parallel from multiple machines, right? Second benefit is when you have replication factor. So when you have, let's say, replication factor of 2 in this case, right? What you are doing is you are storing two copies of every block. So if you look at this diagram, your block number 1 is stored on this data node as well as on this data node, right? So which means even if one of these two data nodes fail, you still have your data intact. Your data is still safe, right? So you can let go of one node and still your data is safe. By default, the replication factor in HDFS is 3. So which means in your cluster, even if two machines fail simultaneously, all your data will be safe, right? So now let's take example of how exactly you know uh, the read happens. So basically a client who wants to read the data, it will ask the name node, right, where all the blocks of a particular file are present, and then that client will directly talk to the data nodes to read that data. It's not that data will first go to name node and then name node will transfer the data to client. It's just that client will directly talk to the data nodes that contain the blocks of a particular file. So basically from architecture point of view, the whole idea is to break the file into multiple blocks and then ask the data nodes to store those blocks. We'll look at the write and read path in detail, but at a high level, the concept is to break the file into blocks and then give those blocks to the data nodes to store. Your name node, it stores only the metadata. That means it stores only the information about every file. It knows what all blocks belong to which file, and it also knows what all blocks are present on which data nodes. Your data nodes will keep sending a heartbeat signal to the name node, which means from which the name node can figure out whether the data node is alive or it is dead. Okay, so when a name node figures out that, let's say, one of the data nodes is not sending the heartbeat signal, it will realize that this data node is dead. So what name node is going to do is it will try to replicate the blocks which were present on this data node. It will figure out the same blocks are present on some other data node, and it will again replicate them to other data nodes, which means it will try to maintain the replication factor which is configured. So in this example, if this data node is dead, your last data node 4 is dead, your name node, it will see that okay, this data node contains block number 1 and 4 for first file, and block number 1 and 4 are present on these two data nodes. The name node will try to replicate these blocks to other alive data nodes. Make sense, guys? Okay, Vipin has a question here. Vipin is saying, so in this example, the third block is 44 megabyte, which means you're wasting a lot of space, right? No, Vipin. So, okay, let me go to this example. So you're saying that because your file is divided into 3 blocks and every block that we have configured is 128 MB, so the third block is actually wasting around 84 megabyte. No, that's not the case. So that's true with typical Linux file systems. So in Linux or any other OS, typically the block size is around 4 KB, right? And in such cases, your minimum file size is 4 KB and it increases in the chunks of 4 kilobytes. So which means if your file is taking 2 blocks, it will take 8 kilobytes disk space. So you waste whatever is free space within a block. But in case of HDFS, that's not the case. In case of HDFS, whatever space is left from the last block, that is given back to the file system. It's not wasted. So the reason behind that is your name node, when it maintains the metadata of a file, it also maintains what exactly is the block size of a particular block. Okay, so it doesn't consider that every block is 128 MB. Okay, by default the block size is 128 MB, which means the framework will try to divide every file into chunks of 128 MB, but as we all know, the file size cannot be exact multiple of 128 MB, so your last block is always going to be smaller than 128 MB, right? So in that case, your name node also maintains what is the size of every block, which means if the last block is smaller than 128 MB, it will give the rest of the space back to the file system to store other blocks. Make sense, guys? Cool. Okay, I have another question here. So Rajat is saying, just a second, guys. Okay, so Rajat is saying why HDFS has default block size of 128 MB. Why such a big block size? That's a good question, Rajat. So let me explain. So as we all know, your disk speed is a combination of two factors. One is your you know, taking the disk head to start of data, and second is throughput. So first one is called latency. And we all know that hardware architectures have not evolved in case of latency. So because it is a physical movement of the disk head, right? So every time you want to read some data, the time it takes for the disk head to move to the start position of the data is actually a killer, right? That is actually what kills your speed of reading data, right? So if you actually want a high throughput, if you want high speed data reading, what you need to do is once you reach the start of your reading sector, you should be reading a lot of data from that place. If you are reading small chunk of data from that place and again you move your disk head to some other place, right, your overall speed of reading data is going to be very, very slow, right? So that is the reason HDFS has kept a bigger block size, so that, and also see, Hadoop is made for analyzing huge data volumes, right? So normally whenever you are reading data in any processing of Hadoop, you will be actually processing a lot of data, right? You won't be working on very, very small amount of data. So that's why when you start reading data, when your disk head actually moves to the start of the disk, you should be reading a lot of data, right? So that is why the block size is a bit on the higher side in Hadoop. Make sense, guys? Cool. So we understand what is kind of block division in HDFS and what is replication factor in HDFS. And we also understand that name node maintains the metadata about the system, file system. It maintains what all files are present in the system, what all are the blocks related to every file in the system. One more important point here is name node maintains all the metadata in memory. Okay, we'll talk about the details of how exactly name node works in this case, but at a high level, name node maintains the metadata of all the files, all this information in memory. And the reason is it has to be able to serve every request very fast. A client comes and says, tell me the location of all the blocks of a particular file. Name node should not be going to disk for that. It returns all the information immediately from memory. Okay, guys. So in Hadoop 2.0, basically they have introduced high availability. What happened was in Hadoop 1.0, name node was single point of failure in the system. So we have already talked about how Hadoop handles failure of data nodes. So in this case, even if this data node fails, your data is still safe. But as we said, name node maintains all the metadata in memory, right? If your name node fails, you lose your data because now you don't know how to create your files back from these blocks. So in Hadoop 1.0, name node was single point of failure. In Hadoop 2.0, they have introduced a feature which is called high availability, in which you have two name nodes working at the same time. One is called active name node, other is called standby name node. All the data nodes talk to both the name nodes at the same time. They send all the block report to both the name nodes, right? And what happens is your active name node, it will keep writing all the edits that are happening in the system to the shared storage. Okay, and in case your active name node dies, your standby name node has the complete view of the system, because all the data nodes have been sending the heartbeat to the secondary name node, or not secondary, it's standby name node. And your standby name node can read whatever edits have happened since the last checkpoint. It can read all the edits and it can create the whole file system again, right? So this is not the detail of high availability, but at a high level, that's what happens in high availability. Make sense, guys?